Hi everybody, it's Christy Forsyth from Clarity here for you today with this week's live tarot reading for the collective. So this is a tarot reading for all of us. This is answering the question, what is it that we need to know right now? What are the messages that we need to know in order for us to best navigate this energy that we have going on right now? And the energy is different. I think that what we have going on is that a lot of things right now are actually manifesting. We have the things that we've been asking for a long time starting to manifest into our experience. But what we're finding is that through that, we actually have choices to be made. I really feel like there's a lot of choices that we're making for our lives right now. There's a lot of flexibility for our life path as we move forward. And so we're making those choices right now that are setting the path for our best life. And so you want to make sure that you're really tapping in and tuning into your intuition. What choices feel best for me? What choices feel like they're going to be for my highest and best good? What choices feel best for me, not just now in the moment, but for the long term of my best life? And so you're going to have these choices showing up for you. You might say, that doesn't feel like things are being manifested for me. It doesn't feel like what I've been asking for is showing up. But these are the choices that we need to make in order to allow for those manifestations. And so if you really take a look at it, if you really dig down deep, I think that you can begin to recognize the way that some of these things that are showing up are actually the manifestation of what we have been asking for. So if you guys are watching, make sure that you stay high, whether you're watching live or on the replay. I love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear from where you're watching from too. So let's see what the cards have to say. I feel like we've got some curveballs coming our way too. I actually usually do this on Tuesday, but I've been so busy this week with soul therapy clients coming in and soul therapy sessions that I've had, just because everybody thinks that they know what's going on, and then we get hit with curveballs and we're trying to make sense of that. And there's just a lot that we're trying to make sense of. Hi Martin, watching from the UK. Thanks for watching. Hi Kay. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. And as always, we set the intention. Amanda is watching from Colorado. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for watching. We always set the intention that we're connecting only with energy that is of the light and only messages that are helpful, healing, preventative. Hi, Missy. All right, let's see what they have to say here today. Hi, my cousin Sean is watching. Hi, Sean. Thanks for watching. So, wow. So as I'm pulling these cards, the very first thing that I want to acknowledge is the cards that I'm pulling, and I'll show you in a minute, but they are all in my deck. They're the scrolls cards. So these are, if you're familiar with tarot, similar to the swords cards. So these are connected with our thoughts, our thinking, and so we want to be really aware of our thoughts and our thinking right now. We want to be really mindful of that as we're going through this process. We might find ourselves thinking a lot, processing a lot, in our heads a lot, because, 3 out of the 5 cards that I pulled are scrolls cards. So that's pretty significant. I want to acknowledge that first. So the first card that we have is the 3 of Scrolls reversed, and this is the setting your course. Okay, so we are right now in Venus retrograde, which is stirring up a lot of relationship stuff. It's bringing forward and bringing us aware to our relationship issues that we have right now and the things that we need to work on. And it can also bring up reconnections and bring us back into old relationship energies as well. And so there's a lot being stirred up in terms of relationships, and a lot of times with this card can be the end of relationships, the end of a partnership as well. So even in terms of business partnerships, we might find some of those not working out, or even just a pair, so friendships, things like that. So basically this can be connected with a clearing of relationships that no longer serve you or don't serve you in your current life right now. I think that it's really important too that with this card, this is a little bit of feeling stuck, and I think that it's really important. Part of the message that I'm feeling with this is that we need to allow ourselves to move forward and let ourselves move forward even if we're afraid. That we need to not allow that fear to drive our boat here in this process. We need to not let that keep us stuck, keep us from moving forward. We really need to do our best to face those fears, to allow ourselves to move forward as we push through all of this. So the next card is another Scrolls card, and this is the Six of Scrolls card, the Sands of Time. And so there is a lot of energy right now where we are supposed to be working in the direction of those things that we're creating for ourselves that are in alignment with our best life path and living out our life purpose. So we do need to be taking action right now. But this card is kind of saying it's okay this week a little bit to take a little bit of a pause as needed, to maybe allow your pace to be a little bit slower so that you're making sure that you are being a little more methodical with the things that you're doing, that you're making sure that you are crossing your T's and dotting your I's, you know, that you are taking care of all those little things that need to be taken care of, but continuing to move forward. And also allowing yourself to stop and pause and process some things that are coming up because those feel really important. It is important that we are continuing to move, but recognize that we might be moving at a bit of a snail's pace this week with some things. As long as we can move in a slow and methodical approach. It's really interesting that I said a snail's pace because this week I have accidentally stepped on 2 snails and killed them, and I felt really bad, and I felt like that was a significant animal sign for me, and so I've been exploring that. So some of this is about that slow, methodical pace and allowing that and being patient with that and recognizing that there's still progress being made, but we maybe are moving at a little bit of a slower pace than we would prefer. Just allowing that process because I feel like that's really purposeful right now. And then we have our Queen of Roses reverse. So Queen of Roses is always for me in connection with relationships as well, sometimes with romantic relationships. So again, we have this concept of some of the relationships right now that aren't serving us might be cleared out of our life right now. It might not be working out. We might have some conflict showing up. We might have some issues showing up in connection with relationships. And that's either for the purpose of helping us to work through some of this stuff with each other or to allow us to end those relationships and clear those out of our life. So you have to really listen to that intuition. You might not be fully clear on that right now through this Venus retrograde, but the whole purpose of the Venus retrograde is to allow that process of exploring, what do I want in relationships? What do I want to allow in a relationship? What's okay with me? What's not okay with me? What type of people do I want to involve in my life? What people do I want to give my time to? Those kind of things. And so we might feel a little bit lost with that right now, but I feel like as we move further along with this retrograde, we are going to find the clarity with that. So hang tight with the relationship stuff that's coming up for you. Take deep breaths through that. Do your best to cope with that because it is all purposeful and for our highest and best good. Hi, Tim. Thanks for watching. So the next card that we have is the Karmic Trench Reverse. So a couple of weeks ago, we had some significant shifts in the energy where a lot of people were seeing endings and things being released and some big stuff that was moved out of our life. And this card is, I feel like, acknowledging in some way that this has broken us out of some old patterns. And so it might have felt like those events were negative or really challenging, and probably we're still kind of reeling from some of the shifts and the changes that have come from that. But on the other side of this, what we're beginning to recognize is that it broke us out of our same old patterns that we had day in and day out that weren't serving us anymore. And these patterns, whether you had a significant life event or not, I feel like we're breaking out of those old patterns. We're allowing ourselves to move forward into a better energy, a new life. This is going to be a great time to start something new for yourself, to start a new routine, a new habit, those kind of things, because the energy right now is really going to support that for you. So anything that you've been thinking about getting started on, get started with it, because this is a great time to change the way that you've been doing things and to step into that new way of life that you've been considering and wanting. So great time to make a change. And the last card that I pulled is the Balance card. Okay, so always with Balance card, I always like to make sure that I say that, make sure that we are allowing ourselves to take a little time for balance, that we're not, during these retrograde periods, we can kind of need to pull away a little bit, kind of need to sometimes be social, sometimes be more isolated, get more sleep, taking care of just our physical needs a little bit more, listening to what we need to cope with all the stressors that are showing up for ourselves. So making sure that you are doing those things that you need to do to bring yourself into balance. I always love when people share what they like to do to bring themselves into balance, because it helps to trigger other people with those ideas. But thinking about those things, whether it's now or in your past or even in childhood, that just brought you peace, that brought you joy, that brought you balance. And sometimes the things that bring us balance aren't necessarily the things that we feel like doing, but they're the things that we need to do right now, you know? So I might not always, I don't know, sometimes I'm not the best at making sure that I'm getting enough water, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't really, you know, feel like that or whatever. I just might not find the energy for that. But if I can force myself to do that, I know that I always feel better when I'm making sure that I'm drinking lots of water and I'm making sure that I'm well hydrated. So thinking about those things that maybe sometimes you just feel a little bit too lazy to do or to incorporate into your life, but you know are good for you and that you know you need to do, because this is a good time again to start new habits. And I also feel like with this, I feel like the word justice comes to mind. And so justice on maybe some of those things that have been looming, that have been, you've been waiting on, maybe you've been waiting on an answer for something. And I feel like a lot of things this week are going to work out in our favor with that. So some good energy that we have, allowing yourself to just experience this process and to navigate your way through this process. So I would love to hear from you guys again. So make sure that you say hi in comments, and I will see you guys soon with another tarot report. Thanks for watching.